Dear friends, if ultimate currency is well-being in our life, we must try to understand what well-being is. The title of the lecture is Meditations on Well-being. Meditation means the mind is turned back upon itself. The mind stops all the thought waves and the world stops. Your consciousness expands. Every time you meditate, you will keep your growth. This quote from Swami Vivekananda gives the importance of meditation. Everybody who begins his or her day by meditating experiences joy in his work life as well as family life. This is the experience of the most of the adults in the world. Even the Western people who have adopted yoga methods, they have confirmed that it is great benefit for them. New idea. The need to be right all the time is the biggest bar there is to new ideas. It is better to have enough ideas for some of them to be wrong than to be always right by having no ideas at all. This quote of Edward de Bono clearly gives us idea that it is possible for us to generate many ideas. Then in all these many ideas, one will be new. If you are concentrating only on the new ideas, then getting ideas will be sometimes difficult. And this is experienced by most of the adults in their lives. Even really new ideas look crazy at first. This Abraham Maslow statement is visible to everybody. Because many great ideas at the beginning were, computers have got only limited market. This was the statement of the people who were heading the computer industry at the beginning. And the expansion is such that it is really miraculous. The expansion is very fast. The number of computers that are being used in the world are so many that we will laugh at the people who gave those numbers that time. But they were the experts. Most of the contents of this lecture are derived from the contents of these two books, that is Happier and A Primer in Positive Psychology. Positive emotions and attention are very closely related. An unhappy person is less likely to be benevolent, that leads to further unhappiness. Positive emotions broaden the scope of attention. This is the observation, and one consciously observe his or her own behavior. It will be very clearly discernible to him or her. We are more likely to see beyond our narrow, inward-looking and self-centered perspective and focus on others' needs and wants when we have negative emotions. That's why it is very essential that deliberately we should try to have positive emotions, as many positive emotions as possible. Conscience is very important. What would make us happy, independent of how much might contribute to the happiness of others? This also is one of the important things. If the helping others is of sacrificial nature, you are trying to sacrifice this that time, then in the long run the relationship will not be good and it will not have positive emotions. To have positive emotion, it is very important that we should help others as if we are helping ourselves. So we have to decide with proper conscience. Unless we deliberate on this, this may not be possible for us. When we hurt people, our innate sense of justice inevitably leads to pay us price for the ultimate currency. In the Marathi literature, there is the story of Kola and Karkocha. Karkocha is called by Kola for a good meal, but the meal is arranged such that Karkocha cannot enjoy. And that is clearly indicating that if I am not having innate justice in me, so it is not possible for me to get the innate justice. Others will not definitely be behaving me with very properly if the sense of justice I lose in myself. So in every relationship, in every act, we should keep this in mind. This is ingrained in all the Marathi students in their school days itself. Sacrifice by definition is not pleasurable. Only sacrifice can never be pleasurable all the time. When we work out of the sense of duty, meaning and pleasure do not converge. And for getting enjoyment in the present moment, it is important that not only we help others, but we should find meaning and pleasure in that work. then only that will be pleasurable. And sacrificial work may not be able to provide this unless we attach positive emotions to that. So that will be helping others is helping oneself, then only it is possible to get the pleasure out of the present moment in the work. Well-being and happiness is not about sacrifice, about a trade-off between present and future benefit, between meaning and pleasure, between helping ourselves and helping others. When I am helping myself, I am helping others. When I am helping others, if I feel that I am helping ourselves, then only the well-being will be boosted. And this kind of thinking we have to deliberately cultivate in our mind. And young minds are very capable of changing their behavior quickly. That's why I feel that Indian youth should take this cue and try to see that they are incorporating more and more activities which are contributing to the well-being in their lives. I have changed the sequence of the letters. On the happiness, authentichappiness.org site, it is PERMA. Here P stands for positive emotions, R stands for relationship, E for the engagement, meaning and achievement. They are very closely related to well-being. Well-being is about the synthesis of all the primary elements, these elements that I stated just now, about creating a life which is of all these elements. Essentially, to well-being and happiness is in harmony. So it is possible if I place all the elements that constitute well-being in harmony, I will be enjoying well-being, I will be helping others to enjoy their well-being as well. Pursuing self-concordant goals, engaging in activities that are personally meaningful impacts our experience in other areas. So when the goals are self-concordant goals and I am engaging in activities which are personally meaningful, definitely there will be a component, part of that activity will be contributing to the help of others. Then we should not stop from doing it. Many times, if the benefit is passed on to others larger and minimum benefit is passed on to us, people restrict themselves to put 100% in their activities. I think this is one of the impediments in the growth of the people, in the growth of the well-being in the society. So this needs to be cultivated properly. Those people who can identify sets of goals that well represent their implicit interests and values are indeed able to function more efficiently, flexibly, integratively across all areas of their lives. If you look at the successful people who have contributed to the development of the society around, here I would like to take the name of Prakash Amte. See, he went to the tribal areas and started practicing there. The poor people got the benefit. He is also enjoying the support of the society. Internationally, he is acclaimed for his first-class research. In addition to that, the most underprivileged sections in the Indian society are getting benefit of all his efforts. So these kinds of activities are really increasing well-being in great amount. Definitely, some elements of them are not pleasurable. So if we are enduring with the hardship, with a smiley face, then more and more such people will be in the society and more underprivileged people in the country will get benefit. Happiness boosters are very important. Meaningful and pleasurable activities can function like candle in a dark room to light up an entire physical space. See, one candle in a dark room is sufficient to look around. So one happy moment in otherwise hard work will definitely be incorporating the wish to continue with that work. One or two happy experiences during an otherwise uninspiring period can transform our general state. And once this general state is transformed, one can persist with the hard work. As I gave the example of Prakash Amte. So more and more youth should follow and try to see to it that not only they are getting maximum well-being, they are passing on the well-being to the people around them. Happiness boosters can inspire and invigorate us. Actions as both motivational pull and motivational push. See, when such examples are there in society, people who are watching this example closely and they relate with their inner strength the elements of that example definitely will enter into the area, and they will definitely contribute more to the well-being of the society. Well-being boosters also can be incorporated deliberately. Happiness boosters can help in the difficult process of change. A new and altered course of action can be included to improve the well-being. For rat racers, it is extremely difficult to disembark from the treadmill and include well-being boosters. A person who is concerned only with his career is not able to see what is the condition of the people around. Generally, he is a rat racer, unless he make a deliberate attempt to see the situation around and try to find out the ways to develop the relationship, try to find out the ways to contribute to others' well-being. Others will not contribute their bit to his well-being unless we incorporate such well-being elements intentionally. Overall well-being will be difficult to get, and meditation definitely helps in broadening our vision, and we dispassionately look around for the possibilities of action where there are. Well-being boosters can be included even by the hedonist people. A hedonist lifestyle may be destructive, but it is addictive and difficult to give up. See, many times we find that people who are addicted to alcohol, they want to leave that habit, but it is really very difficult unless he or she forms a group of friends around him and they are supporting. One such example is that anonymous people who help each other to go away from the addiction. We can include well-being booster consciously. Once a person who was an addict comes out, he has got passionate relationship with the people who are addict and are not able to come out. So those people help other people so that overall that group comes out. So this is very important to inculcate healthy habits in the youth so that they can use their maximum time contributing to the well-being of themselves and the people around them. Role of boosters is very important. We must try to understand the role of happiness as well as well-being boosters. An easier, more manageable way of bringing about change in the quality of life is through the gradual introduction of happiness boosters. It is really very difficult to make an abrupt change for an hedonist, from hedonist to happiness type. But he decides that when he gets the inclination to enjoy the moment, he is asking his friend for help, and that friend is helping him to get over the impulse, then definitely happiness booster is in place. He is forming a relationship, and not only he is forming a relationship, that relationship is helping him to get into the horizon, the long-term purpose of his or her life. And they both together are forming a meaningful purpose to work. So it is very important that not only to go away from the addiction, even for studying difficult subject, students can form the group and help each other. So this will definitely improve their experience of education in their institutes. Inclusion of well-being boosters in spite of their non-pleasant experience is a part to increase meaning and engagement in our routines. See, meaning and engagement are possible when there is a long-term purpose. When there is a long-term purpose, then only I can form an activity which I may not be able to enjoy at the present moment, but I should persist with it. And slowly when I start enjoying it, then enjoyment plus meaning plus purpose will contribute immensely to the well-being. So such deliberate effort is necessary by using the boosters. Active pursuit is very important. By affording the opportunity for trial and error with minimal risk, happiness boosters can help us hone on what we want to do most. See, many things we want to do, but because of the societal pressure, because of the inhibition that we have ourselves put some self-limiting inhibitions. That is, see, I cannot do this work. I cannot be self-disciplined. So if we are removing these inhibitions from our life, then definitely the active pursuit of the well-being will be easy for us, and we can help others to actively pursue their well-being. one of the common mistakes people make is that their free time they choose, in their free time they choose passive and hedonism as an active pursuit of well-being and happiness. See, if one is just idling the time sitting at home, then that is not an active pursuit. But when you are free, you are going to the garden in your home, you are tending the trees and the trees are flowering. It is an active pursuit. So it is very important that well-being boosters, means going into the garden and working in the garden definitely has some efforts. But I get more benefit in terms of well-being when I do those efforts. So it is important that willingly and deliberately we should incorporate such things. Helping mother in the household chore is also a well-being activity. It forges a very good relationship with mother, as well as her burden from the work is reduced, she will contribute to the growth of the children when they are studying. So active pursuit by the family, active pursuit at the academic institutions among the teacher, student is very essential for the overall well-being of the people. When we come from a hard day at work and sit before the TV, vegetate on the TV, many times media is too critical of many things. So we are getting negative emotions generated in our mind. And after that we are sleeping. In the morning if we are getting up, see, when you are going to sleep with negative emotions, coming out fresh in the morning and the sleep will be restful is a remote possibility. So why we should include this in our daily schedule? For well-being, it is very important that for students particularly, when they are sleeping, before sleep, they should read some study, a difficult topic, half an hour, 1 hour, and they should go for restful sleep. It is my experience that most of the difficulties are solved when you get up, whether in the form of the dream or you get some new ideas which you work on next day for 1 or 2 hours and you get the solution. So one of the best ways to inculcate well-being is that when you are going for the sleep, you include many positive emotions in your mind. Try to see that you are maximizing them and then go to sleep. So that is one of the best well-being boosters. So including agreeable task is very helpful. So we must intentionally include agreeable task in our daily schedule. When we come home from work and turn to ourselves, our hobbies and other activities that challenge us, that we enjoy and that we care about, we are more likely to get second wind of and replenish our emotional bank. See, change of work also is giving us rest. The physical capacity of individuals is very high. Most of the time we undermine our own physical capacity. It has been found that human beings can work for 15-16 hours a day without feeling tired. But because we get the feeling, we think that we are tired, we are tired. So it is important that we shift between the work and some other activity, active pursuit, which helps in replenishing our energy. So if we are able to make the proper balance, then that is very important. To devote oneself to an agreeable task, even if physically exerting, is restful. This quote from Marie Montessori will be clearly visible if you go to the behavior of the school children. See, they are enthusiastic. They go to the school with enthusiasm. They come home with full enthusiasm. Till they sleep, they are curious and enthusiastic. Once they grow up, the societal programming actually is causing the disinterest in the studies. If all of us together create an environment in which the enthusiasm of the student persists through his adult years, through his school life, through his all educational life, definitely not only the person who gets this environment, the people around will get maximum well-being in their lives. Happiness boosters lead to ascending levels of energy. See, if I take a break of 1 hour, go in the garden and work and then again come to the studies, see, I am replenished. So I will use my energy constructively, I feel the surge of energy. This is everybody's experience. See, particularly in the evening time, as our energy level is not that high, we go out for a walk or the students go on the playground. After coming from the playground, once they take the meal, see, they feel the surge in the energy level. It has been found that those students who are not regularly playing, their energy level is not that high. This is a practical experience. I wish every student to experience himself this ascending level of energy, even if you are physically exerting. The important thing is that you should be in good health and you should get proper meals at proper times. Once you ensure this, definitely the physical exertion that you are doing at the playground will help you in regenerating your energies, and you are able to put more and more quality intellectual work in your studies. It is very easy and one can do it. The depth of our well-being and happiness is like the roots of a tree. See, when the roots of the tree are given water, it is not visible. But once the flourishing on the tree is there, that will be visible. That's why it is important that we should pursue the studies by taking the elements of the well-being into account. Even if studying sometimes is stressful, if we persist with it, assuming that in the long term this is going to give me all the material benefits as long as my professional excellence will be very good, so that will be very good. Time use is very important. The height of well-being and happiness is like leaves of a tree, beautiful, coveted, and yet ephemeral, changing and withering with season. See, any tree will experience summer. In summer, the leaves will not be there. But as you are tending the roots properly with nourishment as well as water, when the monsoon season comes, the winter months come, definitely you will get the green leaves, and people who are watching the tree will be very happy. So, one's educational life definitely be considered in this way. In the educational life, we are tending our roots. These roots are going to provide us proper nourishment as well as all the ingredients of well-being, which are going to make my long life successful in society as well as in my workplace. Time use may be the determinant of well-being that is most susceptible to improvement. The person who improves his time use is definitely improving his well-being. Time is the ultimate keeper of the ultimate treasure, that is well-being. Most people fall short of their potential for well-being because they misuse their precious time. See, the person who has passed with flying colors and the person who was not able to get good scores, both have got the same time during education. But if everybody is putting his time properly, then everybody should pass. The possibility that everybody is successful is there. And Almighty has given enough powers for all the human beings to succeed. The people who are not able to put their time in proper use, they are the people who are not able to get the full benefit of the time. Within time lies the potential for an impoverished life or for a life of fulfillment properly used. Time becomes the keeper of the ultimate resource. The richest person on earth and the average person on earth have got the same time. The quality of the time and how I use the time, that really make the real difference. There is no limit to how much well-being and happiness we can attain. Theoretically at least, every person on earth can attain well-being. See, if collectively we are pursuing well-being of everybody as the goal, this should be possible, and then peace will prevail. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam will come into reality. By pursuing work, education and relationship that yield both meaning and pleasure, we become progressively happier and increase well-being. In the diagram, the pleasure and meaning are overlapped. That means happiness, peace, well-being, pleasure, meaning, there is a sweet spot, and everybody can find this sweet spot. If we find the sweet spot, then we will feel that we are happy, and everybody finds the this sweet spot, means everybody will be happy. The possibility that every human being on this earth can lead a successful life is there, and one should actively pursue to make that possibility a reality. We experience not only just an ephemeral high that withers with the leaves, but lasting happiness with deep and stable root. See, a tree whose roots are tended properly and nourishment is available, see, in the summer months it may look without leaves, but as soon as the season comes, automatically the tree will be flourishing. Similarly, if every human being is tending the elements of well-being according to his or her own personal strength properly, the possibility that every human being will be very happy in his or her life is there, and one should actively pursue and attain that happiness. Self-esteem is important. Our capacity for the pursuit of well-being and happiness is a gift of nature. Enlightened nations set up political structures, constitutions, courts of law, armies to protect our right to freely pursue well-being and happiness. See, a person gets the self-esteem if the institution around him are enlightened. That's why in any free country it is very important that the elements which foster self-esteem are cultivated by the public institutions. And the beginning to enter into the public institution is when the child enters into the school. For a long time it remains into the school. If his self-esteem is protected, it does not mean that he will not have any negative emotions. Because to progress properly, one has to hone the skills. If one is trying to hone the skills, means there will be some failures, and failures will be associated with negative emotions. If we have a right balance of positive emotions and negative emotions, then definitely the self-esteem will be very well protected, and this very well protected self-esteem will lead to the well-being of every person who is undergoing this process properly. One of the greatest impediments we face in our pursuit of the ultimate currency, our feeling that we are somehow unworthy of happiness because of the lack of self-esteem. Many people get opportunities to be happy because they do not have the proper self-esteem. The feeling of happiness they are not enjoying. So this should be avoided at any cost. Generally, the people who are perfectionists, they face this problem, as they are not deriving the pleasure in the momentary success. They are not able to tend their self-esteem properly. For all perfectionists, it is very essential that they should try to find out joy in the immediate small successes, so that they are converting from a perfectionist approach to an optimalist approach. An optimalist person is trying for the perfection, but whatever small increment of success that he is getting in his everyday life, he is celebrating. So it is important that the momentary successes also should be celebrated, sometimes with a cup of tea, sometimes in the weekend with a dinner with the students. At workplaces, when a good project is done, all the work group can come together and fosters each other's self-esteem by praising. So that is really very good feeling. If we are not enjoying our day-to-day small successes, the possibility that we will enjoy the big success at the end of the big work is also not there. So to enjoy the big successes, it is very important that we should enjoy the small successes, and to enjoy the small successes, proper self-esteem is essential. So we must learn to enjoy the small successes by helping us get the proper self-esteem. Students should find this very easy to do if they take the help of their friends. Many of us have limitations that are self-generated. Most of the limitations that we tell that we have are self-generated, because we are all learning in the same institutions, we are living in the same society. Why some are becoming really very successful and others are getting average success, some are not successful? So it is the self-generated limitations most of the time, which is causing the barrier to get the success that we want. If we are deliberately able to remove those obstacles in our everyday life, we will definitely be not only fostering our self-esteem, but we will be far more successful in our lives than we are today. When we do not feel that we are worthy of happiness, we cannot possibly feel worthy of good things in our life, the things that bring us well-being and happiness. I have found that many times when we are solving a very good mathematical problem, so because the most difficult problem is to be solved, the person is not enjoying it. See, in the exercise of a book, when you study a difficult topic and that consists of 15-20 examples, 1 or 2 will be really very difficult. If you are able to solve other 10 or 12, so we must enjoy that as well. That should not be an hindrance to enjoy what we have learned. And where is the limitation? That should be actively sought. And once we know that, we can take help of the friends, we can take help of the teachers and overcome that. So we must avoid this perfectionist attitude that unless I am doing all the work properly, then only I will enjoy. Because some failures will always be there. If we develop proper resilience, I persist with the failures, and once you are persisting with activity, it is impossible that that activity you will not be able to enjoy. So you will be able to solve most difficult problems as well, provided you are persisting with the process of solving the problem. So it is important to keep the enthusiasm to solve the problems. Because we do not believe we actually deserve them, that they could not really be ours, we feel they are lost. Many times I have found that students are passed 90%. See, 90%, very good score. Somebody else has got 95%, that's why I should not feel that I have got less percentage. So this is very important. Many times in Indian circumstances, it is found that because of the inadequate capacity of higher learning institutions, many very good students are not getting entry into those institutions. And once that event occurs, the student gets the limiting beliefs built in. It is very important that there are many other alternative careers. The expansion of opportunities in the last few years is enormous. If that student sits together and try to see what is in your circle of influence is more important than what is beyond. See, the number of seats in the higher learning institutions are minimal, but there are so many other institutions where you can learn and keep with the studies and try to see that you are performing at the best. Once you are performing at the best, your entry into any other institution at other time will always be there. Actually, when you are not getting a good seat in the higher learning institution, that's a momentary failure. That should not be treated as an affront on the self-esteem of the student. So the self-esteem of the student should be protected. This is required even for the parents. Parents should foster his self-esteem, because if they are nervous, student will automatically get nervous. This fear causes actual behaviors that lead to self-fulfilling prophecy. Our fear of loss creates actual loss. Our feeling of being unworthy of happiness, in fact, leads to unhappiness. See, once a student who is not getting his entry into the higher learning institution is not able to enjoy that moment, and because of the relationships around, he is not able to overcome the tendency, he will be in a spiral which will bring his performance down. And once the performance goes down, he feels that he is not capable of very good education. So this can be called as self-fulfilling prophecy. We have to avoid such self-fulfilling prophecies for all the people around us, especially for the students who are exerting a lot to enter into the higher learning institutions. There is second rung of institutions wherein you can enter initially, and then after putting up a brilliant performance there, you can again enter into the higher learning institutions. So this possibility is there, and everyone should take care that he is not indulging in self-fulfilling prophecies which are not leading to his well-being. We must see to it that All the time we are trying to get the maximum well-being, whatever we can get. There would be some minor issues for while pursuing this well-being, but we can negotiate those issues by thinking properly and by the support of the people around us. A person who fears loss may protect himself by ensuring that he has nothing to lose. When we are happy, we have a lot to lose. Many people do not feel happy because if they are happy, then they will lose that happiness and they will become unhappy. So this should not be there. Sometimes I may be losing the happiness, facing hardship, but most of the time I should be feeling happy. This can be deliberately inculcated. To avoid devastation of a loss, we exclude the possibility of the gain. I mean, sometimes we are not feeling happy. It does not mean that many times we should not feel happy. This is illustrated by this. We fear the worst, thus, from the outset, deprive ourselves of the best. Many times we deprive ourselves from the best because we fear to lose whatever we have. So sometimes we will be losing, and sometimes there is happiness in losing as well. One must liberate from the fear of happiness. Even if we do not find happiness, we might feel guilty because there are other people who are around who are less fortunate. See, looking at the poor people, if you are feeling unhappy, so how you will help him? It is very important that you should be compassionate. Compassion is an essential quality for well-being. Unless I feel myself happy, I cannot broaden the horizon. Unless I broaden the horizon, I cannot help the people who I am considering as less unfortunate. So if I am fortunate enough to get, by the grace of the God, good wealth, I must distribute that wealth to uplift that, and that also in the proper manner. It should not be only as doles. That person who is getting help, he also should feel that he is empowered. Unless he feels empowered, that relationship will not be lasting. It is when we liberate ourselves from our fear of happiness that we can best help others. So to best help others, it is very important that we should liberate ourselves from the fear of happiness. Vivekananda used to say, Manav Amritacha Putra hai. Every human being on this earth has the ability to enjoy life to his or her fullest. Maximum well-being he can attain. Then why one should not try it? Because we are putting limiting belief, we are not getting the proper well-being. If the possibility exists that every human being can attain to the maximum well-being that he can get, such conditions we create, then really it is very good. We must feel that we are worthy of by our virtue of our existence, because we are born with the heart and mind. We can experience pleasure and meaning and enjoyment, because every person on this earth has come with the permission of the God Almighty, with the permission of the nature, and nature has provided him all the help to become happy, to pursue the ultimate currency, that is well-being. So I must wholeheartedly pursue and get them. The self-inhibiting factors I should avoid at all the cost. When we do not accept our inherent worth, we ignore our or actively undermine our talents, our potential, our joy, our accomplishment. So we should not limit ourselves by thinking that we are not able to get this. We should actively pursue with our full talents, with full skills, with full vigor, to get what is the maximum that I can get. So the nature has got plenty of the things when you are pursuing right things and trying to get what you want. Enjoying present moment is very important. When there are too many competing demands on our time and attention, our ability to be present in the moment is diminished. Unless we are enjoying the present moment, we will not be happy. Our ability to appreciate and enjoy experience is diminished when we are time stressed. So in today's world, you will find that time stress is all pervasive. In spite of this all pervasive time stress, we have to incorporate activities deliberately so that we can enjoy the present moment. And it is possible to do that by incorporating the elements of well-being in our everyday routine. For this, we need to simplify. We must simplify our lives. We must slow down. The good news is that simplifying our lives, doing less rather than more, does not come at the expense of the success. So it is the quality of the work that matters in the ultimate analysis, and not how much time you are spending on the work. Time is a limited resource, and there are too many competing demands on this limited resource, because you have to work, you have to cater to the requirements of your family, you have to accept some social responsibilities so that you should feel that you are part of the society, and society should feel that you are contributing towards the societal goals. So all this is possible if I use my time properly. So the sense of time affluence is very important. Simplify lives reduces stress levels. Relationship would be greatly enriched when we simplify lives. Time affluence is a consistent predictor of well-being, whereas material affluence is not. Many people who have got lot of material worth, but they feel that they are not happy. But the people who are having a balance of material wealth plus relationship plus meaning and engagement in their work, definitely they are feeling happy. So it is important that we deliberately understand this and not go only for the material worth in our life. Time affluence is the feeling that one has sufficient time to pursue activities that are personally meaningful, to reflect and to engage in leisure. So particularly for the student, as most of the time students are well supported by the parents, they can get the feeling of time affluence if they are able to divide their study time, their play time, and the time that they spend with their friends properly. So one has to acquire this quality so that even in the longer run, when they are entering into their work life, this will help and they can keep proper balance of all the elements that lead to the well-being of them as well as others. So time poverty is the feeling that one is constantly stressed, rushed and overworked and behind the schedule. Many times when students say that they were not able to study because time was not there. See, from the beginning of the semester, if you are able to divide your everyday routine with study time, play time, then it is possible that you will feel time affluence. The time poverty feeling will not be there. One must train for this deliberately. To raise our level of well-being, there is no other way than to simplify our life. It is essential that we should simplify our life so that we raise the quality of our well-being. It means prioritizing, choosing activities we really want to do, and while letting go others. See, it is not possible to do all the activities that we feel we should do. We have to find the activities which we really want to do. And once we find those activities, the time will be barely sufficient to do those activities. So it is very important to train for every student that when the study time is there, he should stick to the studies. When the play time is there, he should stick to the play time. In the vacations or at the weekends, he should indulge in some hedonistic activities which will be catering to his basic strength, and he will be replenishing his energy at the beginning of the week, so that he can pursue his well-being again by studying properly. So this right combination is to be done. It is important to internalize well-being. Fortunately, doing less does not necessarily entail compromising on circuit. See, a person who is doing less work is not going away from the success, provided whatever the talents, he is choosing a work which is in tune with his talent, skills and strength. Then even if he is putting 2 hours of work, the quality of the work and quantum of the work will be such that many others who do not have that talent or those skills, he may not be compete. So it is important that we internalize well-being by looking into all these aspects. Then we will not have this time poverty sense. Happiness perception is not about rejecting material wealth, but rather dethroning it from its status of highest on the hierarchy. So it is important that well-being should be our highest priority, and we should dethrone the material well-being or only material wealth from its place of highest priority to 2, 3, depending on the personal core of the self. Once a person knows his core self, his character, he can tune his activities so that well-being will be at the top and the material worth will be associated with the well-being, but number 2, number 3, or whatever the number that he feels fit. So many people keep well-being at the top, then helping others at the top, and material worth slightly at the lower ladder. Some others, they keep at a higher ladder. It is the individual choice where to keep the material. But material wealth and well-being, they go together, and they together make a life enjoyable. There should not be skewed attention towards the material wealth. We enjoy higher levels of well-being when we recognized and internalized the fact that sustained happiness for longer duration is the ultimate currency. So we must see to it that sustained well-being and sustained happiness for longer duration in our everyday life is the highest priority. Then material wealth will automatically get the correct priority in your list. Enjoying journey is important. When the question that guide us our life are about finding more meaning and pleasure, we are much more likely to derive benefit from the journey as well as destination, and this makes life enjoyable. Students mostly wonder how colleges can help them make more money. When choosing work, they question primarily about prestige and progress. The student who deliberately tries to understand the elements of the well-being and incorporates in his or her priorities the proper elements, he will definitely not commit this mistake, and his overall happiness level will be much better. We need to be our own change agent. No wonder the levels of depression are on the rise, because every student is not becoming his or her own change agent. Conscious choice, the choice to focus on well-being and happiness as the ultimate currency, is the only change agent, and I request all the students to see that they are incorporating well-being as their highest priority, so that they become the change agent of their own. One can grow with adversity. Life is fraught with struggles, difficulties, and disappointments. Optimalist is able to find pleasure in the journey without losing his focus on his destination. Optimalist and perfectionist, these are the two tendencies. The person who wants to do every work as the perfect work is perfectionist. A person who wants to do his perfect work, any work that he takes, he wants to do perfectly, but he is successful 70%, 80%. Then also he is deriving pleasure out of it. He is saying that, okay, this time I could not do it to the intended perfection. Next time I will try it. Such persons I will call as optimalist. So, an optimalist learns and grows with adversity. It is possible for every student to understand the elements which constitute optimalists and try to become an optimalist so that you enjoy the adversities. Achievement is equal to skill multiplied by effort. This is the formula given by Professor Martin E.P. Seligman. See, the people who have high skills, they can put less time, effort I can equate to time, and they can get achievement. But if one skill level is low, he has to put lot of amount of time, and he will get the same achievement. So depending on my skill level, depending on my capacity to put in the work, my achievement will be there. One must get to this formula properly and see to it that he maximizes his achievement. We need to engage in activities that are neither too easy nor too difficult, because then we will be in the flow. Otherwise, flow will not be there. If we are not challenged enough, we become bored. If our aspirations are overly ambitious, we become anxious. So becoming anxious will not help improving my well-being. It is important that the challenge and the skill levels are to be balanced to experience the elements of the flow in the work. So we have to incorporate this. The highest and most difficult goals produce the highest levels of efforts and performance. But remember, when you put highest goal, if your skill level is not according to that, then one may become anxious and one may go away from the work. So conscious choice of the goals along with his own skill levels can be ensured by the person who is setting the goals. Every student should take the responsibility of setting self-concordant goals so that to his or her best to his or her abilities he can get the maximum benefit. So this is very important to realize. Stretching is important. Unless I stretch, see, my muscles will not build up, my thinking power will not build up. This is true for everybody on this earth. Performance levels off or decrease when the limits of our ability are reached. When commitment to highly difficult goal lapses, definitely our abilities go down. So we have to have commitment to the goals which are higher than the current skill levels. Then I will acquire the higher skill levels. I will experience elements of flow in my work, and then I will be in the zone. So this is called as stretching. I must be beyond comfort zone, but I must be below the stretch difficulty zone. I must be in the right zone so that I put my maximum efforts. While stretching ourselves, pushing ourselves to greater heights can be good thing, there is a point beyond which it becomes bad. So we have to stop beyond going this point. So we should be always in, we should balance between the whatever skill levels that we have and the challenge that we are setting for ourselves, so that we are always in the flow. For this, healthy goal setting is required. We need to accept that our limits are real. Finding the balance between, on the one hand, high hopes and great expectations, and on the other hand, harsh reality applies to healthy goal setting. I must see to it that whatever the goals that are setting are healthy for me. See, any person who is beginning to play a new game and thinking that he will be able to defeat the world champion within a 15 days or month is impossible. So he has to go through the process of training hard. It will be years he acquires the skills so that he can defeat the world's best, provided he or she has got the talents to acquire those skills. So every student should see what are the areas of his or her life which are important to him. He must list and see to it that he indulges in healthy goal setting. It is important to appreciate the incremental success. Accept and appreciate incremental success as antidote to dismissing success by never being satisfied with it. So avoid the perfectionist mode, try to be in the optimalist mode so that you enjoy the incremental success. Once our basic needs are met, our well-being is determined by what we choose to focus on and by our interpretation of external event. So this interpretation of external events is definitely decided by my thinking. If I change my thinking to interpret the external events to contribute to the well-being of myself and the people around me, definitely the appreciation of the incremental success will be very fine. Do we view failure as catastrophic or as learning opportunity? It is very important for every person to learn failure as a learning opportunity. Everybody knows the Japanese doll. If you are trying to put that doll down, automatically again it sits. So every child plays with such doll. So failure should be treated as when you are hitting the Japanese doll falls and immediately it again hits. So this is a learning opportunity, and every student, if considering his or her failure as a learning opportunity, will become a very good student and in the end will become a very good professional. it is important that we understand the gratitude. For that we can write gratitude journal. Do we appreciate and enjoy what we have, or do we take it granted and dismiss? We should not take granted what we have. We must appreciate it. When we appreciate the goods in our life, the good grows and we have more of it. Write down on daily basis gratitude journal where you will be writing down 3 good things, major or minor. Writing down says your friend might have helped you in doing homework. Your mother might have provided you a sumptuous meal which you really enjoyed. Then express gratitude to your mother, to your friend, or to your teacher who has given you a very good learning experience in one of the classes in this week. Practicing mindfulness is very important. Being mindful about assuming the optimalist cognitive and behavioral flexibility is very important. Then we can enjoy the incremental success which keeps our sustained interest in our work. We are mindful when we think of original use of familiar object, when we note a new expression of familiar face, and so on. So it is possible to sense the joy on the face of your friend when you are mindful. Many times we are not able to do this because we are too much engrossed in our own thinking. For this, it is essential that we should be mindful. This also helps in getting good health. Practicing mindfulness by drawing novel distinction, nonsense, happiness, creativity, self-acceptance, success, and physical wealth. It is important that we look around and try to find out all the nonsense so that we enjoy them. When we practice the gratitude exercise mindfully, when we take time and effort to savor the good in our life, we are benefiting in 2 ways. First, we become more appreciative and the good in our life appreciates. Second, we gain from the experience of mindfulness, which in itself is a benefit to us. Once we learn to become mindful, most of the time we are mindful, and the possibility that we will not be in tune with the present moment will go away. And being in present moment always is very joyful. Make a list of the most important areas in our life. For each category, distinguish between the part you have to give up and the part you have to see as indispensable. The part which you cannot avoid is called as indispensable. So in any activity, you can always make it. All achievement come in a series of steps. People study for years, endure many failures, struggle and experience and down before they make it. Write down a goal that you care about and try to make it. Path to success is essential. Unless we chalk out a proper path in detail, the possibility that we will attain the success in time will not be there. So we need to make it necessary. We should put this on paper, the path from the present state to the state where we feel that we will be successful, and you should feel then that is very good. Be the change agent that you want to be in the world. Be the change you want to see in this world. This was Mahatma Gandhi's statement. The calmness has to be inside. If you are happy, the happiness is transportable. You take it with you where you go. A happy person is always surrounded with happy people. Don't smear the darkness of expectation across the experience. If you are going with negative emotions, that is the darkness of expectation. And the people around will automatically become, they will also get the negative mood. Life is in details. The well-being is rarely shaped by some extraordinary life-changing event.